What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action. Spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is Fast Rag, better known as Rapl. Rapl the Wise, Rapl the Great, Rapl the up-and-comer, Rapl the currently ranked 1 on Verbally. Congratulations, my friend, on your past accomplishments. However, this is a new game. This is a new life. And this is the Odin player, Rapl. His opponent today, some refer to him as more senpai. Others refer to him as more champion. There's more legend. There's more. They're all the same person. This is more. And he is playing Oranos here in this game, on this map, in this time. Yes, this is Tundra. And we do have an Oranos Odin matchup for you, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you out there who have been having a tough time with Odin as Oranos, Moore's here to set you straight. He's the author. He is the author of How to Beat Odin with Oranos 101. I'll have you know if you guys want to see that. It's over at the RTS Sanctuary forums. Your place for expert recorded games, right? That's what they're called. Who knows? Anyways, we've got more here. Going for a 4-minute advance time with hunting dogs. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be this good, you have to learn this build order. If you want to be an Oranos player, you've got to be more than just an Oranos player. You have to be an Oranos innovator, ladies and gentlemen. And that is exactly what Moore is here. And he is going to be showing you guys how to get yourself to the classical age by 4 minutes with hunting dogs, with Oranos on this map. And very exciting to see that one happen here. Rapl, on the other hand, he's cast his Great Hunt. He's getting himself the temple up, and he is making his way through in this game with Odin. He does have a fairly unfortunate wood line here, given that all of his wood lines are fairly outside of his base. And that means that if Moore does notice this, it's going to be really, really tough for Rapl to defend his wood lines. It's not the biggest of issues, because it can be like rectified a little bit later in the game. But in the early stages of the game, this is going to be something that Moore's going to want to target here. And we'll see if Rappl's going to notice that this is a weakness in his base. If, back to fundamentals, identify the weaknesses in your base and act. And simply put, a wall here would be very, very useful. Make sure you do not chop down this tree, otherwise there's going to be a route into your base, and you'll be okay here to just chop the kind of front wood lines here, and you'll be okay. But it's still kind of going to be a bit scary for him. So we'll see how that's going to work as this game is continuing. We do see the Herser coming out. More on the other hand over here. He is on his way. He is currently 60% on his way through Prometheus. He's got 2 villages on gold, 2 villages on food, 2 villages on wood, and he is moving over onto these Aurochs nice and early. And we do see, in fact, that Moore's actually taken that villager that was on wood off of wood, moving that one over onto the Auroch here. And do we see he's also getting pickaxe here nice and early? This is an economic build, even though he is going to the classical age incredibly quickly with that hunting dogs. A little bit after 4 minutes now, you can get a 355 with no hunting dogs. With hunting dogs, it's kind of impossible to get faster than a 4 minute, but just a touch behind there for more to get that advance time. I think maybe just a little bit of missed macro on the food villages there, unfortunately. So we are seeing this cheeky Skraeling coming in, and we see the Valor coming down, getting those Oracle heroes out. Very nice to see that one there as he's thrown down his mana. He's got himself up his military barracks. He's going to be well ready to defend anything that's coming for him in the future. There's the Longhouse up now for Rapl, as he's going to start probably making Ulfsark. Now, if we do investigate the Odin history, the Lone Wanderer Ulfsark was never really a thing. There was a couple of players who tried to do it back in the day, but at only 4.95 speed, it wasn't really good enough to be utilized. However, once it got buffed up to be able to be a 5.2x, whatever it is, 5.2 something speed, the Ulfsark started becoming very, very strong against Oranos. And the Oranos players have been struggling ever since. And we will see if Moore has got the answers here. And right now he's got a couple of those Momilla out. He's got no Valor for them just yet. And I do think that potentially here, Moore would have been better off saving his Valor for these Momilla. If he did really need to heroize an Oracle, he could have manually heroized the Oracle. 40 food, 65 gold. It's not a bad investment considering you're probably going to be utilizing them anyways. We are seeing those Prometheans now coming in, starting to jab away at these villages. Nice micro to keep that one alive as he's pulling back. And now the Ulfsark are currently just sitting over here, making sure he doesn't get targeted or anything like that. More now, he's starting to get those Momilla out. And he's got to be very aware that the win condition here for Oranos in this matchup is either army spam, so you win by spamming your army and taking a lot of really, really good fights, keeping your opponent in the classical age, or it's getting to Fanatics. If you can get to Fanatics with a good economy, it means he's going to be able to survive a Ragnarok. Surviving the Ragnarok is key for the Atlantean players, as we are now starting to see those Ulfsark coming in. See that 5.28 speed here with the Lone Wanderer. We've even got a Cairo Ballaster out for Moore. He's playing this really, really nicely. Not a single Terma being made here by Moore. I love that, considering the Terma have no real use unless throwing axemen get made. But the problem is, these Ulfsark, they don't get touched. If they're moving, they don't get touched. These Cairo Ballisters do nothing unless the Ulfsark stay put. And now we'll see what the plan is here for Rapl. He's continuously building these units. He's now starting to transition away from Ulfsark, making some raiding cavalry, a third longhouse coming down. So it is looking like Rapl is committing a little bit to the classical age. I do think that there is a world where just 2 longhouses is enough here. And we are seeing the Valor coming down, pushing in for more as he's ready to start putting some pressure onto Rapl after the initial start of this game being very, very dry. Not much confrontation here, just kind of running around, abusing the speed of both civilizations thus far. But the army power here for Moore is very, very strong. His Cairo Ballaster is getting chased away, though, by the raiding cavalry, which is very, very good there for Rapl, as Rapl is pushing Moore back nicely here and distracting these units over here very, very well. Did manage to pick off a Cairo Ballaster there as well. Now, those Cairo Ballisters are very, very expensive. So every one you lose, you basically need to make sure the Cairo Ballaster is getting about 3 kills per unit there, because that's just how it works. I mean, I'm seeing these villages now under attack, but Moore's going to be very careful. His Momilla, they're speedy, but they're not actually that fast compared to the Ulfsark. And the Ulfsark can chase them down, but looking like Moore is not going to get chased down as Rapl decides to go somewhere else. He's got his Valkyrie out, ready to heal himself up here. Moore now coming forward with his units on this front. He does manage to block that raid there. Rapl throwing away units kind of poorly, as we see the Momilla returning back over here, trying to snipe down some more villagers, but throwing axemen coming out now for Rapl, as maybe Moore needs to start thinking now. He's seeing those throwing axemen to start making some Terma, and that's exactly what Moore's doing. Very, very smart play here. The Cairo Ballaster is still very good against the throwing axemen as well, but moving back in onto this food situation, he does manage to take down 1 villager. He might want to consider retreating here. The big advantage that Moore's going to have in this fight is going to be those Prometheans. If he can take down the Hearser, that's going to be vitally important, but it's looking like those Cairo Ballasts are getting targeted down. We do need to see the Cairo Ballasts targeting down the throwing axemen. Super important. Forest Fire coming in by Rapl. Not going to do all too much. Just a couple of Cairo Ballasts are falling, as it's looking like Moore he's actually able to take this fight here fairly nicely. The Prometheans currently not really getting targeted down by the Hearser, but there they go. There are actually 4 Hearser here, though, really able to take down those Prometheans nicely. But who knows where this fight is going. We see the Terma now going to attempt to move in onto these throwing axemen. I like that micro by Moore to just place them right next to the throwing axemen, and it is looking as if Moore is going to come out on top in this one. Rapl here, 60-70 population, as Moore has got a significant advantage advantage here, and he's going to have to figure out how he wants to push this advantage. One option for Moore would be to cut military completely here and just go to the heroic age, get the Stymphalian birds, get the dryads, and just sit on that advantage completely fine. The other option is to go for a gold staff here, as Rapl is definitely going to be running out of gold very, very shortly. But the question is, will he actually be able to win the next fight or not? He's currently out of those juicy Kyra Ballister. There's no more remaining. His Promethean numbers is pretty low here, but there's not many Hersa in this fight, so this might be okay here for Moore, as Moore is very low on favor. He's spent all of that, and that's kind of the limit here for the Oranos, as we are seeing this fight is now looking like it's slightly favoring Rapl here, as Moore has to retreat. Moore's now dropping down to 86 population, as Rapple's at 76 population. And honestly, I think that this was a big, big mistake here from Moore. I think after he won that fight, the answer was cutting military, going to the heroic age, and then just simply planting Stymphalian birds on the naked gold mines for an easy gold cut. Would have been very tough for Rapl to get to the heroic age there. Very scary for him to not build units and go there, considering he has to defend that gold mine. But we are seeing Rapl is currently searching for some food. There are a couple of aurochs over here, but now we see that that raid onto the woodline we were talking about early in the game here starting to look like it might become an issue. Rapl, 91 population, Moore currently searching the map for the gold. He realizes the gold is gone, but he should have known that 110% of the time, every time. But he is going to be searching around here. We do see the army now looking to circle in onto this location here, as the Valkyries have come out for Rapl. Going to be very, very tough to deal with that now that there's no real valor left for Moore, and currently Moore's army is getting kind of pushed off from all different locations, and Rapple's army, he's very, very strong here. Very, very strong, but it is looking like on this situation here that Moore's got an advantage here, whereas his army is cut off over here. So he needs to get this one back over. He needs to think about getting himself that medium upgrade, and he is getting that. So this is going to come in very, very nicely here for this fight, and we'll see. This is going to be a big one here. If Rapl can defend, he's going to be in a great position, and we'll see. Will Moore turn when that medium infantry comes in? Looks like he will turn with the medium infantry, and the question is, does Rapl have any upgrades coming through or not? He doesn't have any upgrades coming in. He's trucking down some more longhouses. We see on this fight, on this front, excuse me, that Moore is winning, whereas he's distracting a lot of the units of Rapl over here, which is very, very nice. But the Promethean's going to be able to get taken down by the Valkyries very, very easily. And this is the point. Moore is not really in a position that he can really win against the Valkyrie here. And without those Stymphalian birds, without the Dryads, he cannot really win this fight, as Rapl is hard pushing back here. And now Rapple's sitting full population. Moore's dropping. Moore's 96 of 115. He is currently raiding over on this location, so we're starting to see some farms getting thrown down. But at this point, this is going to be very, very tough for Moore. He's chucking down some more military buildings, starting to make more Kyra Ballister, more Mermilla. Needs more economy, really, to do this. No second town center on the way. Hasn't lost any civilian units just yet, but it doesn't matter because Rapl is just motoring ahead with his kill-death ratio in this game. And right now, Rapl can kind of choose to do whatever he wants. Now, he is playing against Oranos. You don't want to overcommit to anything because bad things can happen quite a bit against the Oranos. And especially as Norse, you don't want to overstep or anything. Just make sure you make the right decisions here, as we are seeing the Dwarves getting pulled off as more Mermilla coming in onto this location. Rapl is deciding best bet is to just retreat for the moment, return his army, looking for some more raids over here. He has managed to push off of this food situation here, as Moore does realize that that's going to be a place that he could get raided in. Imagine forest fire here, ladies and gentlemen, with those Ulfsark to block. Would have been beautiful. Not in this game. Not in this game at all. We do see the ox cart was taken down, but there is an ox cart over here helping out already. So we could possibly see that ox cart just move over onto the gold mine and be fine. But an ox cart coming in now by Rapl. Completely fine here, and Moore going to be trying to keep his Mermilla alive, as he is throwing up a second town center with 6 villages on it. That is not a sight you see very often. Now, you don't really speed this up that much. After the second citizen, the third citizen even, you don't really speed it up that much. This town center takes a very long time to go up, and a lot of idle time there on Moore's economy, as he is now starting to throw up these farms in possibly the most disgusting fashion you've ever seen if you're a Age of Mythology player and understand that farms around the town center is a beautiful thing. But Oranos players, Atlantean players, they don't get it. They don't understand. They really don't get it. But Rapl going to be retreating now for the time being. He has got his armory up, and I would not be surprised to see him going to the heroic age right now. He is on the way. And so the choices now for Rapl are fairly simple. Town center or mythic age. Either one doesn't really matter. He just needs to figure out which one he wants to get first. He could also opt for hill fort first into the heroic, into the mythic age through the Ragnarok. Very, very difficult for Moore to really defend against that. And the fact of the matter is we're going to have a frost coming very soon, which is going to be hard to pick off the majority of this army, which is super out of position here. But we'll see if Rapl's going to turn around and take that fight or not, given he definitely could do that. There's the frost, and he hits the vast majority. He hits the entirety of that army. A couple of units idle here, and we could see some walls coming up. These stray units here could get taken down very simply. Rapl, he's getting himself out. The Frost Giant has a lot of favor in the bank here. Moore, on the other hand, very low on the resources. He's currently moving forward, chucking up the military backs. We do see the Raven here from Rapl has spotted that one there. Nice usage of that one in this period of the game. Normally we see people forgetting they have Ravens, but the Odin main, he knows what's going on. And now we're going to start seeing potential building blocks here. I love this. The double longhouse with the wall, though there is a gap over here that is not being blocked. These slithery Atlantean units can definitely come out and be very, very difficult. We see a market now down by Rapl as he really wants to get to that mythic age. Doesn't have quite the resources just yet. And you see that army? The pathfinding of the Atlantean army, specifically the Oranos army, so very, very good. I think the majority of civilizations would have got blocked in there, but not Oranos. He gets out very, very easily. We see the Ulfsark now coming over, going to be hitting this location here, hurting Moore's food economy nicely. Meanwhile, over here, we see these extra units still pumping out, but I mean, right now, just not many farms, but you don't need farms. He's got the hunt, he's got the Aurochs. This is all he really needs. Looks like the Ox cart is going to get targeted. What are you doing? What are you doing, Rapl? What's this farm doing here? Rappl's ox cart yet again getting targeted down. It's a big investment to take this one out. And at this point, Rapl could just take all of these villages, put them over onto gold, and buy his way to the mythic age. Be completely fine here. And it's looking like essentially Moore is saying, I'm going full Oranos here, full flood, just going to keep going at you, trying to sort my economy out as I go on. He's no longer building civilian units. He's just lost all of his civilian units on food here. He does have a couple on farms, only 5 villages currently on food for him. But right now, the army flood is real, but there are a ton of throwing axemen here for Rapl to defend against these Murmillo with the help of the Frost Giant. It's absolutely huge. We see the Ulfsark going to try and get in here onto that Carabalista, but nice micro there from Moore to block that one off. As more of these units getting frozen, we see the Promethean even got frozen there by the Frost Giant. It does come out of that very, very quickly. Actually, it takes 20 seconds to come out of the freeze, but it is what it is. Big shockwave there by Moore, though, as he is continuously pushing in here, as we still don't see that mythic age coming through for Rapl, but he's got his market down, so I mean, he can kind of do whatever he wants. He's currently trading very, very nicely here with the medium infantry, the throwing axemen doing huge. No real Terma here to take those throwing axemen down. The Frost Giants are out, and if you were worried about Valkyrie, Frost Giants are so much more brutally difficult to deal with. We see the Frost Giant comes in and just completely nullifies one of those Carabalista before a second one taken down by the straight raiding cavalry units retreating back on this front over here, but these throwing axemen taking down the Murmillo beautifully here, as Moore realizing probably have to pull back as the Frost Giants are in. They both a beautiful micro there from Rapl to take down both of those Prometheans. Obviously, once you kill one of them, the Promethean offspring do spawn and they can move, but we're seeing that Moore is just saying, well, better just let them die than keep them alive. Carabalista falling over here. So throwing Axeman dealing with this beautifully. So many Frost Giant here in this army right now for Rapl. He's got 4 Frost Giant, which completely nullifies any advantage that Maw could possibly have from army spam. I tell you what, the Frost Giant's so strong. Needs Stymphalian Birds or like heroes, I guess. But Stymphalian Birds would have been so very, very helpful in this situation. We've even got Rapl now saying, well, time to sit on this location here. We've got him starting to eye off that Mythic Age, and we'll see if he picks tier. I would place a bet, I'd hazard a bet that we're seeing Balder here, and we are seeing Balder. Balder is a very, very difficult to defend against with the Atlanteans if you don't have access to Palace. If you have the Palace, like 3 or 4 Palace up, defending Ragnarok is very, very possible because those Fnatic trade incredibly well into the Heroes of Ragnarok, but without those Palace, without those Fnatic, Ragnarok is very, very scary. And we'll see what's going to happen here. Lots of villagers currently getting sniped down by Maw. He's currently sniffing out this this Mythic Age that is potentially coming through for Rapl, as the Dwarves going to be able to run away. The majority of them will survive, but some crucial kills here by Maw. We'll see if he's going to be able to hold on. What is his building upgrades? No building upgrades, no towers, no nothing here. There are gold mines all over the map, and Maw can simply just spread his villagers all over that as best as he can and force Rapl to have to kind of decide where he wants to go. We do see a cheeky wall coming up here from Maw as well. Very, very cheeky. But the raiding cavalry coming through here, we do see that Maw decides, yep, time to turn around, take this fight, clean up all these raiding cavalry beautifully. And we'll see Rapl now deciding to move forward with his throwing axemen. Frost Giant army here. How is his armory upgrades looking is always the question when you go Ragnarok. Not very good at all. Starting to see the push in onto the town center, picking off as many of these units as he possibly can. The Balder does hit there at the 20-minute mark, and he's going to be popping them out, and we see a 208 population Ragnarok. Now, if this was against Egyptian, you'd be like, no way this rag works. But against Atlantean, against Oranos, it's so difficult to deal with. We've also got this beautiful, beautiful fire giant here, which can take units down. And Maw says, I'm not even going to bother. I understand. I've been in this situation one too many times. I'm not even going to try and defend it. And he just taps out. We've even got the rag heroes hitting a gold mine straight away. And is just going to be gold starved. There's no real way forward here. Getting to the heroic age might be a possibility. Get out some Stymphalian Birds to take down the units, but I just don't think that there's really a way here for Maw to really hold against the rag. But you know, sometimes you do have to just try and take the fight and see what you can do. But I guess in this situation, just too far behind. I do think that Maw had a significant advantage here. If we had perfect play, like if you chuck this into like a chess engine, and like the chess engine could spit out the evaluation of what the game was looking like, I would have said that given that first victory, that first fight that Maw took, if we take a look at the post game here and we look at the military units, this moment here where the army drops for Rapl and the army picks up for Maw, I think that instead of this army picking up here, at this point when he won the fight, he should have cancelled unit production and gone to the heroic age through Thea. If he did that, Rapl would have gone straight up to here, all the way up to his full population with all of those Valkyrie. He then would have had to deal with a ton of Dryads, a ton of Stymphalian Birds, and also potentially heavy infantry or even Arcus coming out as well. And it would have been a very, very interesting thing to see if that would have been enough to get the gold starve or not, considering Rapl would have had to go on to the heroic age there later, which means that you have to then deal with Stymphalian Birds without a hill fort, which is very, very tough. But Maw didn't do that. He opted for the army spam strat, and Rapl did manage to hold a very, very nice victory here, showing off how to deal with this kind of new Oranos tactic of no terma. I love the idea. Going double longhouse into Ulfsark, sussing out what's going on, and then realizing got to get some raiding cavalry in to deal with those Cairo Ballasts. Did that beautifully, and then started to get some throwing axemen out a little bit later. Very nice play from Rapl. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.